going on with Jason too is, I believe he was, and he can talk more about it. And if he's upset that I'm doing, I apologize ahead of time, but diagnosed with cancer 3 years ago, never did anything about no treatment, nothing, just put it off. And was using drugs and not facing reality. And now finally, Judge, he has an appointment set up in August here to actually deal with a problem, to face his problems, as scary as they may be. I'm imagine, I've never had it, but I'm sure he's scared. And I think a lot of times people don't like to face that problem and they'll do other things or they're self-medicate, but it looks like he's ready to face the music on that.
Any questions for the court or your attorney before we proceed?
No, Your Honor.
As to count 1, felony bail jump, and H felony, how do you wish to plead?
Guilty.
As to count 2, possession of methamphetamine, and I felony, how do you wish to plead?
Guilty.
Court will find your pleas of guilt are done knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily. I'm going to find that you understand your constitutional rights and what it means to waive and give up those rights. I'm going to find a factual basis to accept your pleas of guilt. Based on that, I will find you guilty of count 1 and count 2 in 23 CF 6-1. The remaining charges will be dismissed and read in for sentencing purposes, as well as 23 CF 103. Judgment of conviction will be entered today. Argument and sentencing recommendation, Mr. Renick.
Your Honor, this defendant does have quite a history and quite a criminal record, I think including felony OWI is going up to, I think, OWI 10. He's been to prison. I think there's a clear and present AODA issue. He's of an age where we're hoping to see him aging out of the criminal justice system, but he clearly needs services and AODA issues and help with that. He may have some medical issues as well. He has received an immediate punishment because he has served at least 63 days of jail so far on this file. And so given his history and his age and the nature of the cases that we have and the underlying criminality, we would recommend a withheld sentence and 3 years of probation with any programming for the Department of Corrections, which would include an AODA assessment and follow any treatment and recommendations. We think absolute sobriety, no use or possession of drugs or illegal drugs or drugs without a prescription or paraphernalia with either random and or regular testing. We would ask for the DNA sample and then the appropriate court costs associated with that. But we believe that given the immediate incarceration, that he can be treated in the community and with the supervision, hopefully he can remain law abiding. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Davis.
Number 1, Your Honor, is this a serious offense? Offenses, yes. I'm not going to make a lazy argument as to why they are not serious. But I do want to go to my client's character and his rehabilitative needs. I'm sure the court's aware who Jason is. He's been through the system. There's definitely an addiction problem. And there's also the reason for the addiction, which he now needs to face and go through that trauma therapy and go through the rehabilitation too. What's interesting about this is I don't get very many clients, but I think the way the system's set up is you probation, then there's county jail, and eventually it's a prison sentence. And I think I remember, and I forget which attorney who called it like an installment. They're like an installment person that you keep doing and doing and doing, and finally you'll end up in prison. Jason has done such. And my whole point is, I think when you go to prison or you go to jail or you're in and out of county jail, it's a punishment. And after talking to Jason, I think he finally hit the rock bottom. Like he's just exhausted with it, that it's more tiring now to want to not follow the probation or continue with sobriety. I think he's just sick of it, and it's no way for him to live. He has support, his significant others here. I've been in contact with her. And the other issue that's going on with Jason too is, I believe he was, and he can talk more about it. And if he's upset that I'm doing, I apologize ahead of time, but diagnosed with cancer 3 years ago, never did anything about no treatment, nothing, just put it off. And was using drugs and not facing reality. And now finally, Judge, he has an appointment set up in August here to actually deal with a problem, to face his problems, as scary as they may be. I'm imagine, I've never had it, but I'm sure he's scared. And I think a lot of times people don't like to face that problem and they'll do other things or they're self-medicate, but it looks like he's ready to face the music on that. and is going forward, methamphetamine is not going to cure cancer. It's not going to put him in a place where he's employed or working or living in the community. I can also let the court know that I believe he's got to sit in jail until November 23rd. So he's going to be sitting for months still coming to go. And I do think the way he speaks to me, and Judge, this court's seen methamphetamine users daily. They try and control the conversation or manipulate it or have a justification. Jason's polite. He listens. I listen to him, and I just think at his age, I think he's ready. I think what the district attorney said is you hope at a certain age you just get broken down. And I think he's done. I think he's finished with being in this system. He doesn't want to be part of the criminal system anymore. And again, I just want to make it quite clear that this has been one of the most polite clients I've had, and I don't say that sparingly because everyone's different. There's aggressive people, but he's just been listened. He's been attentive. He asks great questions, and he fills me in on his life. And he's not guarded. And I just think that I'm asking you to consider this joint recommendation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Mr. Belisle, do you care to make a statement here today?
Yes, Your Honor. This is probably the most you'll ever hear me talk, or anybody ever hear me talk, but ever since I was like a young little kid, 6 years old, I got counted out because I spoke up on something, and I got thrown away more or less as I see it. But I carried that throughout my whole life to keep stuff to myself. And like I left high school. I ended up in Flandreau, South Dakota, just for something I did, good choices I did. I come back to Siren. Nobody knew I only had half a credit to go to graduate, and I quit school because I was hooked on shooting cocaine. Then at 96, my brother caught me, John Boy caught me shooting cocaine, and I promised him I'd never do it again. I'd never have touched a needle again. Then in 2012, I found out I'm going blind, but obviously I'm still seeing for some reason, but because I surpassed the doctors on that. And I basically broke my back. 2012, went through surgery, and I ended up dying in St. Mary's from double pneumonia. But I don't know, whatever I seen and heard from over there brought me back. Then in 7/19/13 is the last time I drove drunk. Haven't drove drunk driving ever since. It's because of what I see now. When I do get behind the wheel, I will not drive at night. And 8/19 last year is the last. No, 8/13 last year is the last time I used heroin. And I owe that to Pastor Jack. And Pastor Jack, I known him before he was a pastor, because me and him used to drink together in back bars, and I think we used to fight too. But I owe him my life for saving me on the heroin, because he was the only one that came down from Superior to help me when I asked for help. I asked for help around here, then nobody would help me. They counted me out. And then again, I'm gonna boldly say that November or May 24th is the last time I used meth this year, because I'm just turned 47 in jail upstairs, and I'm just sick of it. Spent half my life upstairs or in prison. And I missed my kid's birthday by eight days, his 18th birthday. And that kind of sucks. And it's everything's that, I guess I'm a slow learner or whatever, but I'm learned, I learned. I'm sick of this, because my whole life revolves around drugs or alcohol, and that's what made me in the courtroom here. But like my attorney says, Mr. Davis, he yelled at me. Yeah, he yelled at me, and he didn't know me from hide or hair, and he had every spot that right on the button. And I just told him, thank you, And yeah, I got diagnosed with cancer 3 years ago, and yeah, that's when I fell off. That's when, if you see what happened in the last 3 years, that's where all my criminal cases come from, because I gave up. But then after I left Ruth House in August or December, because I lost one of my best friends and whatever, she left, and I felt alone. But then, I don't know, it sounds like BS, but it's the truth. I prayed to God that send me my angel, you know, whatever, that needs help. And then a couple of weeks after that, Michelle showed up at my son's house. And there's, I don't know, it just scared me because her silhouette in the window looked like she had wings. So I don't know if you want to call that fate or whatever it is. But right now, I feel like today is, I got the best sport team that I have ever had in my life. I moved off the res, and that was my rut. I feel that was my rut, going back to the res all the time. Just going back to the same BS and whatever. But I don't know, today I just want to live. I want to live whatever time I got left. I don't know, today I just want to live. I want to live whatever time I got left. I promised my son that I wouldn't leave him again. And he agrees with me. He's like, all right, Dad. Because, you know, I don't know. There's another thing about my son. He's never ever called any woman, any girl I brought home, a mom. But he's seen Michelle, and he's the first woman I ever introduced him to. And that's it. All he said was, "Is that my stepmom?" He don't even call his own mom. So it's kind of threw me off the loop, and I just thanked him. Because he's the first woman he ever agreed to, or, you know, whatever. But I don't know, it's just, you know me, you know me from school and stuff, and I don't ask for help. And when I do, it's kind of at the dire need or whatever. But long story short, I use my anger for motivation. I'm really pissed off at myself for this both BS. Because I know better, and I know I'm better than this. And this is the longest ever, you know, when I got out of prison, I told PO that let me do the stuff on my own. I'll show you, prove it to you that I'll do everything that I say I'm going to do, and I'll be out as long as I ever have. And I have. You know, ask Amber that, and I just don't mince my words with her no more. I just tell her everything. I'm just tired of being told how to live my life when I know what I got to do, and I can do it, and I will do it. I just need the chance to prove it. And that's what I asked the court today to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blau. You're right, that's the most, I think, words I've heard you say in 40 years. Granted, we had a long time of space where we didn't see each other or whatnot, but Mr. Davis, I don't know if you're one of the attorneys that I've said this to. I think I have in the past to you, but I know I have in other cases with Mr. Belial when he's in front of me. I've known Mr. Belial long time. He was in my class, older. I don't know if he missed a grade or whatnot, but the first time when I came on the bench and I saw Mr. Belial, and I think he was appearing from prison, I think at that time, the first hearing or something like that. I was so shocked because Jason was always very polite, very kind, very caring, very, very quiet. And he kept to himself. But when you got him talking though, and you talked about something, you can always tell if he cared, because then he would lighten up, his eyes would just start sparkling. And once you talk to him and you got him to giggle, you got him to laugh a little bit, I mean, then you knew you were breaking his shell. It's very easy for me to now see, Mr. Belial, why you had the shell that you did and why you were so quiet. You kept quiet and you kept to yourself, and you didn't want to stir up anything. You didn't want to cause any negativity or cause people to react negatively towards you. And I can understand why. If whatever happened when you were a young kid, and whomever said what they did to you in the way that they did that broke you. Not in half, not where you can't be mended, but they broke a piece of you that you thought that you can't be Jason. You can't use your voice. Our voice is our strongest weapon. It's our strongest tool. Our voice gives us the control over our lives, our boundaries, everything. And you essentially were told to put on your duct tape and to not use your voice. And I think that caused you a lot of trauma as a child. And I think that you started to repress those feelings and the fact that you felt like you were nobody. But in fact, you were. You just couldn't see it because of what you experienced. And that's sad. That really breaks my heart. Because again, I never, ever, ever would have thought I would have seen you in trouble. Because you were at least in school, you followed the rules, you did what you needed to do, you stayed out of trouble, all of those things. And it sounds like you started to self-medicate to try and make yourself feel better or to try and break out of your shell. Fights with Pastor Jack, I don't know. Maybe that happened, maybe it didn't. Maybe alcohol raises your emotions a little bit. But I had never, ever seen a foul word coming out of your mouth during the time of school. And we witnessed some things. It's not like it was all rainbows and flowers and butterflies. Our class was very ruckusy. And sometimes it was generated towards you. You got some razzing or picked on, but you never erupted that I saw. I'm sorry about the cancer. What's going on?
Diagnosed with prostate cancer like 3 years ago, and I knew about it, but I didn't want to hear about it because, your body tells you when you know. But then, because every time I went to the doctor, I quit going to doctors because I didn't want to hear it. And I went to the doctor, and she said that she really needed me to go to see a urologist because my PSA levels were high. She just kind of basically told me what it was, and I just didn't want to do it. I got in an argument with my mother, Laverne, and I just said F it and gave everything up. And
Now you will, right?
yes, I will now because Michelle told me to basically get my head out of my rear end and see who I'm.
I like Michelle. Keep her.
Trying to.
Well, you need to take care of that, and you need to take care of your other issues. You've been going blind for a long time. You shouldn't be driving. No, I shouldn't be driving. You need to, you don't even have a driver's license to be able to drive. You need to be able to address these things and get your AODA under control. You've been to prison, I think OWI 10, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yes.
You definitely have issues and you definitely need to take care of them. And I'm very glad to hear that you've made a good friend and confidant in Pastor Jack and that you want to continue with that because I think it's so important. I don't think that the community will be harmed if I put you on probation. So I'm going to follow that recommendation. I'm going to place you on probation. I'm only going to do 2 years. We're going to know if we're going to know or we're not. Either you're going to succeed or you're not. But in looking at these cases, I'm not doing a withheld sentence because quite honestly, this is not the case for prison. Have you been to prison before? Yep. Do you mind going to prison? I mean, it sucks, but I mean, this is not these facts. You didn't put anyone's lives at risk. You didn't go get completely high and drive and hurt somebody or almost hurt somebody or put their lives at risk. You possess methamphetamine and other stuff. You weren't driving erratically, recklessly, doing those things. You're not out breaking into people's houses or doing all these other kinds of crimes. This is a use case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an imposed and stayed sentence of 1 year in the county jail. That'll be enough time to at least to have over your head where you're going to be, you know what? I don't want to go to jail for a year. And this will be consecutive to any other sentence that you receive. So if you're going to mess up, you're going to go do something else. This year will be consecutive to any other sentence that you are either serving now or that you will serve. So it's very important that you take your sobriety and you address that. 63 days of jail credit. And that will be, the sentence is for both count 1 and count 2 concurrent. So they're the same and it's concurrent. Do you know what you do? You knew that you were on bond. You're an addict. You possessed a substance. You knew you shouldn't have possessed that substance, both by the law and by your bond condition. Do better. Be better. You are better. You need to be there for your son who needs you and for Michelle. Most importantly, Jason, you need to be there for you.
Your Honor.
Because you are a good person. You have a good heart. Just do dumb things. Stop doing the dumb things.
Because of drugs and alcohol. That's why I do it.
That's the dumb things. Stop doing those dumb things. And it'll stop you from doing other dumb things. Right?
Yes.
Conditions, AODA assessment, follow recommendations of Department of Corrections and their programming. I'm going to say get your medical appointment and follow through. I think that's it for conditions. You have 20 days to appeal. Should you fail to appeal within 20 days, you lose that right. This is a felony. No use or possession of firearm for life. No voting in any election until your civil rights are restored. I'm going to assess $518 in fines and fees for count 1, $250, the DNA surcharge only for count 2. I need you to provide your DNA to the jail. They'll go ahead and they'll take care of that. You have the right to request it be expunged through a written letter to the Department of Justice. You must report to probation immediately. Failing to report, you could get an absconding warrant. So do that once you are released. And once you provide, well, they'll get your DNA. I think that's covered everything. If you don't pay your fines and fees, the court will enter a civil judgment. You're always going to owe that. Plus you could sit an additional 6 months in jail for failing to pay. I'm going to save at least $50 a month towards paying off these fines and fees. Mr. Renicky, what am I missing?
I think you got it.
Mr. Davis.
I know you don't have the jurisdiction over it, but if you could at least make an order, he would like, I know that he's been going to the overflow jail in Bayfield. If he could do his time here, I think it's easier for him to go to the hospital and stuff like that. He'd like to just do his time out here if he can.
I would love to say that I could do something. I cannot. That is up to jail captain. And so what?
Or could you order, or not order, but would I be able to get like the monitoring? Because I was talking to Harley about it, and he said
I don't
that
know what sentence you're serving, and if
it's on the THC one. He sentenced me to a year.
so what would need to happen, I would need to get a motion filed in that case, and then I can hear you on that case. But that's not in front of me today, and I need a proper legal motion filed.
I don't believe I represent him on that, but
Alicia Oddman did, but she's not
Not
attorney
there
no more.
anymore.
just apply for it. I'll do it. I'll just do it. I'll just do it, Judge. If we can,
Find out what it is.
if we can have a date. And I know that your procedure is file a motion first, but
I trust you'll do it.
if I'll just do it pro bono, just so that he can get his.
22 CF 100.
Okay.
Just send me an email with that and we'll figure out a stipulation.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that for Jason.
22 CF 100.
Let's go get, so I'll do that and then I'll get a date that fits on her calendar. All right, that'll work out.
And you can be by video, Mr. Davis.
Thank you very much.
I could do morning of August 10th, if that works.
I'll just make it work here. Let's see what I can do. Who do we have here, Jason?
Pretty much you can pick a time except for 11 to noon. I can squeeze you in.
What time would you like me? When you tell me, I'll make it, I'll be there.
We can do it right away at 9 if you want.
Yes, Your Honor.
So 9 o'clock, August 10th. 22 CF 100.
Yeah.
And I did put it on your week.
I'll do that.
Email to us stipulation or something.
All right, thank you.
Yes, District Attorney, yes.
We are adjourned.